Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Um, as you can see, the title is about setting smart goals for 2023. So we would like to start by asking you first, what comes to your mind when you think of the new year? You know, there's a famous saying, new year, new me. So if you can just share with us on the chat box, what comes to your mind when you think of the new year? Okay, new beginnings. Thank you, Tushar. Anything else you can think of? New goals, new targets. Thank you, yes. Goals for the new year, new resolutions, new targets. Okay, lovely. New hopes. All right. Start fresh. Yes. Okay. Lovely, lovely feedback. Exactly. So when we think of a new year, we're trying to think of new things to go for. As you said, new resolution, new targets, new goals, new hopes. So how can we work towards that in the best way possible and also boost health? Okay, Prasad mentioned. So how can we work towards that in the best way possible? I'm gonna move over to my colleague Gilsa to start you with this process that's gonna help you achieve what you're looking for in the new year.
Thank you, Sabina. So, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody. Today, I would like to start this presentation with a quote by a famous author of several internationally well-known books. His name is Darius Forex. So the quote is, "Don't change yourself, rather improve yourself." It means that you can't be liked by everyone in the world. So if people don't like you, so be it. We often find ourselves in situations where we feel we don't belong, maybe at work or at school or at maybe at your in-laws place or even at home. So it is not necessary to rush towards changing who we are or what we are, or you know um, what our skills are. Rather, let us focus on our strength and redirect your energy towards improving your strength. So, if you try to change yourself, you're more unlikely to succeed. But if you work hard to improve the way you perform, it is more likely that you may succeed in your goals. With that, I'm moving to the highlight of today's presentation, that is how to make a personal development plan. So a good individualized plan provides focus to us. So it helps us to reach our version of success. Since it allows you to make better decisions and it prevents us from taking backward steps, or it can also allow you to strategize and get back on track when we face some failures or when things go wrong. So having a clear plan is also beneficial for your mental health because it gives us a sense of purposefulness, and it can reduce stress and anxiety. And PDP is a form of self evaluation and self reflection, and it is typically used in higher education or workplace. And it can also be beneficial exercise in our personal life as well, whether it is your relationship, your personal goals of wellness related goals. And a simple and effective way of keeping track of your personal development is by completing a PDP, that is a personal development plan. If you don't have a plan, it will make it difficult for you to focus and you're unlikely to meet your goals, whatever the goals are. As Benjamin Franklin once said, you would have heard the quote, if you fail to plan, you are actually planning to fail. So it doesn't matter how old you are or where you find yourself now, it is never too late to start your PDP. Most people have completed one at some point during their education or career. So if you have already got one, maybe you should reconsider the parts of that goal now. So moving on to the steps to write a personal development plan. So this is you have to keep in mind that this is basically your plan to improve your knowledge, skills, or experience. It need not be in a specific format, but has to essentially include the following steps that I'm going to explain. First one is set yourself goals. So you need to ask yourself what you really want in life. And these could be your long term goals. It could be, if you ask yourself where you want to be in 10 years time or 5 years time, you would have a specific answer. At least you will have a vague idea what you want. So figuring out what you want is not only the first step in planning, you would know by now that it is also the hardest part of it, especially when you're in your late 20s or 30s. Once you've figured out what you want to do, it also acts as an emotional anchor, and it can provide you a stability and structure in times of difficulties. So you have to break them down into tiny baby steps initially in order to make it more attainable. And that will make you feel more, able to succeed these plans, and the goals may feel more manageable and achievable. But before you do that, your goals will definitely overwhelm you, because uh, this is because you're thinking and planning for your future. And it is normal and natural to feel scared. It is your life that you're planning, and it is definitely a serious matter. Secondly, you need to prioritize these goals. So you need to consider all the little steps that we just mentioned that might help you achieve these big goals, and then you will need to prioritize these short-term goals. So it is important to remember that you can not do everything at once, and trying to do all of these at once will definitely lead to failure. So consider what steps need to happen immediately and what steps need to happen later. So in your PDP, set yourself smaller goals to make the bigger ones happen. For example, say I want to become a successful psychologist in Germany. So, definitely, from what I just said that it's a very big goal. I can break this goal into smaller ones, like first I need to know about the healthcare license there in Germany. Then I need to know the local language there. So now I have to further break down it into smaller steps, like learn about the licensing procedure first, find out the cost, find out what are the eligibility requirements for me there, find how much time it takes to process all this. Then secondly, I'll have to find out a suitable place to learn German, get in touch with other professionals, and seek support from them. So, prioritizing these goals will help you make smaller goals as well as long term goals, small term goals as well as long term goals, which makes it easier to achieve. Next, set yourself deadlines for when you want to achieve them. So, knowing when you want to achieve the goal is very crucial, because having a goal and not knowing when you want to achieve it, you might take years to start thinking about the actual process. So, it is very crucial, and picturing your future is more and more important source of motivation as well as inspiration. So, find out the likelihood of you achieving your goals by speaking to other people about their experiences, and also research the process as much as you can. So, by all this, you get a very realistic idea of what to expect from your efforts. And it prevents you from becoming discouraged when you actually hit any, failures. You know, since they help you to learn more about things you want to achieve, and it can help you predict the future problems and plans, you can also plan how to avoid them by the whole process of speaking to other people and learning about their experiences. So hence, a failure in front of you would just be considered as um, a bend rather than an end, like the famous saying. Nextly, mm, we need to recognize the threats as well as the opportunities you have at hand. Definitely, there'll be certain things that might prevent you from achieving your goals or delay your way towards your goal. For example, lack of motivation, sorry, could be very detrimental in applying your strategies in, gaining your or achieving your goal. For example, in the example I said previously, it might be stopping me from applying for my license in Germany, or I might delay learning the language, saying I already have enough at my hands, I'm working enough right now. But once you have identified your tendency to procrastinate or lose focus, you can put in place these methods that will keep you motivated on your plan. So there are also going to be things that you could do, and connections that you could take advantage of that will help you on your way, not just the uh, difficulties. So while you're working along with the difficulties, you can also work on the opportunities that are coming across. For example, if there is a conferences with a lot of psychologists, international psychologists coming, I can take advantage of that situation. I can go along and network and stay up to date on the latest information on these procedures, which will be helpful for me to achieve my goal. Nextly, develop your skills or increase your knowledge. So once you have an idea of what could stop you and what could help you, you can make an action plan about how you'll make that progress. Whatever it is that is stopping you, find a way beforehand to stop it and keep building on your skills. Uh, Finally, the second last one is use your support network. So you need to always realize that you don't have to do everything all by yourself. Always make use of your support network, which could be a very valuable asset in achieving your goal. So in your personal development plan, try to list the people who can help you. This could be a financial advisor or a friend or a colleague, whoever it is. People are so often so often they are happier than we expect to help us. Finally, always keep measuring your progress. Whether it is a small one or a big one, after you've achieved some progress, take time to reflect on how far you have come, and recognizing what have gone well is a way to boost your motivation and remain dedicated on these goals. So after a setback, there is always a time to take the stocks. That is, you should spend some time figuring out why it went wrong or how it went wrong, or to identify whether it is your gap in the skills or knowledge. So it is all important to measure your progress. So today we'll be explaining more on setting yourself goals. I'm sure all of you would have read about goal setting at some point in your career or in your life. So goals are a part of, aspect of your life which provides a sense of direction, motivation, or a clear focus to you. So by setting goals, you're providing yourself with a target to aim for. That is, a smart goal will help you in the long run to guide your goal setting. Explaining what SMART goals are. So S stands for making a specific goal. So you would have heard of famous author Robin Sharma, uh, the person who wrote Monk who sold his Ferrari and all that. So his famous quote is, "A vague goal promotes vague result." So it is necessary to have a very clear idea of the values behind your goal, and also to ensure that your goal is as specific as possible. So to give you an example of what being specific means, I'll take a very general topic. So I'll give you 10 seconds to list as many white things as you can in the chat box. All of you can list as many white things in the chat box. Milk, yes. Any other white things you could think of? Tissue, clouds, sugar, yes, sugar, paper, egg, clouds, onion, teeth, rice. Yes, all right. So, for the next 10 seconds, I would ask you all to think of as many white things in your refrigerator. In your refrigerator, what are the white things? Milk, curd, egg, bread, eggs, yes. Coconut powder, milk, ice cream, mozzarella, yogurt, eggs, milk, yogurt, mayo. So you can see butter. So you can see that, being specific, when I ask you what are the white things in your refrigerator specifically, you are able to say more things than you can think of in the entire world. So that is how being specific helps us. So specific goals allow you to tap into focusing power of your mind. So when your goal is specific, you would know exactly what you want to achieve and what you need to do to accomplish it. For example, if my goal for the new year may be to study Arabic, so to study Arabic alone would be a mere idea. So a clearer version of my goal, which is a specific one, would be I would study Arabic 30 minutes every day right after I take a shower. So that way it would be more specific. I hope you understand. So more examples are coming in the way. Secondly, it has to be measurable. So unless your goals are measurable, you can't keep track of your progress and you cannot adjust your efforts or strategies over time. So how will you know whether you have achieved it if you are not able to measure the previous one and the present progress? So some goals may be easier to measure than others. For instance, if I want to um, put on some weight, maybe in 1 month or 2 months time, I would know by using a weighing scale. But then compared to my goal of learning Arabic, that is far easier. So how would I know if my goal of learning Arabic is measurable? So, with goals such as these, we will have to find our own qualitative criteria to measuring our progress. For example, maybe I can set criteria that having a conversation with my Arab colleague on a specific topic, maybe on traveling or on food, could be measured as a progress for me. So that way I can make even my subjective goals as measurable on a qualitative terms. Next is having attainable goals. So having attainable goals means your goals have to make you always feel challenged, but it has to be defined well enough that we have to be able to achieve them enough. So you have to think of whether you have enough resources or capabilities to achieve your goal. If not, what you're missing in order to achieve your goal. Have others done it successfully before or not? So all those have to be considered before you set a goal for yourself. Nextly, you have to see if your goal is relevant for you. Having a goal and working on it, not knowing why you are having this goal, is not very, desirable. So, when you have a goal, you need to always think of the bigger picture. Why are you setting this goal? How is this important for you in a long term basis, whether it is working, whether it is for your work or whether it is your personal life? How is this goal going to help you? So that is how the goal becomes relevant to you. And having a time bound goal is also very important because it has to have a start and finish date, otherwise it can go on and on and on. So if the goal is not time constrained, there will be no sense of urgency or not enough motivation to achieve the goal itself. So you have to always ask yourself, does my goal have a deadline? By when do I want to achieve this goal? Should I learn Arabic within a year or a year and a half? So how much ever it is, you have to always set a time a starting time and a finishing time for your goal. All right. So let me give you an example now. I would say um, a scenario where a girl called Sarah is joining a new office, and she has been extremely shy in order to join the office parties. And when asked to present in the meetings, she would be extremely, uh, you know, avoidant of those situations, or she would try to shy away from such situations where she's asked to be presenting. She would socialize less with her colleagues. So, what do you think could be a specific goal here? Can anyone present in the chat box join Toastmasters? That is very, very specific. Thank you. So, having a specific goal would mean what is it that she has to plan to improve? Get rid of the fear factor, interpersonal skills, yes, and get comfortable speaking in public. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, like you all mentioned, we can collectively call it as improving self-confidence, especially at workplace, right? So to make it measurable, she can plan to contribute twice a month in her weekly meetings, or attend two company functions at least. In a specified period of time. So that way, to get rid of anxiety or to improve self confidence, like you said, to get rid of the fear factor, it is exposure that has to be uh, tried on. So she plans to contribute twice a month and attend two company functions in a specific period of time. And she makes it attainable by rehearsing her ideas with friends and seeking tips and support as to how they faced these troubles. And uh, it is relevant because in the long term, Sarah will definitely want to get a promotion. So in the long run, definitely Sarah would want to know, mm, want to improve her self confidence in order to get a promotion. Next, Sarah has set a time limit of 6 months to achieve her goals. That way she has made it time bound as well. So this is a mental health concern, or this is a personality related concern at a workplace. So I'm passing it on to Sabina in order to give you a wellness related example.
All right, so if we want to continue the example of Sarah over here, um, let's say Sarah also is not very comfortable, like with herself. Like another reason that she's not taking the initiatives to do those like presentations or meetings at work is her body image, and it's affecting her social life as well. So let's say that Sarah's goal could also be to, um, sorry, just a second, I think. Okay, sorry, just fixing the, okay. So let's say Sarah's goal is to improve her body image. Okay, so I would like you to try now to fill this out like by yourself. So let's start by measurable. So if Sarah's goal is to improve her body image, how do you think it can be measurable? Can you tell me in the chat box? How can she make it measurable? Lose weight, work out daily. Okay. BMI. Okay. All right. Anything else? Monitor the calories consumption. Measure the weight now and decide how much you would make it after 1 year. Okay. Diet plan, eating healthy. Okay. Lovely. Lovely. Okay. So to be more, let's say, again, like we need to think of the first steps to be more specific, right? So the first step, if she wants to get a diet plan, if she wants to eat healthy, she wants to monitor the calories or know her BMI or start her workout, would be to consult her nutritionist. So for example, we could say she would consult her nutritionist once a week and practices positive self-talk at least twice a week. Okay. Now, how can it be attainable? So attainable, to remind you, is something that's like achievable, that you can like get support on, learn from experiences. So can you think, how can she make it attainable? What steps would she take? What would she do? Okay, this one could be maybe a little bit hard. Okay, calories needs to burn per day, be consistent, set a time for walk. Okay, okay. Follow the advice from the nutritionist. All right. Okay, we're getting there. Basically, we can say that Sarah could open up more to her friends and learns from their experiences, gets encouragement from them. So Sarah could, for example, speak to someone else who went through the same, or just be more open about it, because this is something very common. And by the way, when we talk about body image, it's not about like, does not directly mean that Sarah is, let's say, overweight. Maybe Sarah is underweight and she's also not comfortable with her body. So it could go both ways, right? So experiences from others could help her, and making sure that this is something, okay, that's achievable, that I can work on this, I can achieve my goal and get there. Okay, now relevant. So how would this be, how's this relevant to her? What would this help her with? So improving her body image, what would what would it help her? Can you also tell me in the chat box? Confidence, lovely. Okay, okay, here we go. All right. All right, great. So feel healthy, think healthy. Thank you for all your contributions. Okay. So basically, she wants to, we can say, get in better health and let's say start dating. So get in better health, it means, yes, mental health, physical health, like you guys said. And let's say she wants to start dating because maybe before she's too shy, or she never like goes past the first meeting or so. So she wants to get in better health and let's say start dating. Okay, now how can we make it time bound? So what's a timing that, let's say, Sarah could set for herself? Achieve target within 6 months. Okay, okay. All right. So basically, um, wanting to improve body image is a process, right? Sandra also said create a realistic schedule. Okay, very nice. So basically, it's a process that takes time. It's not easy, right? So she understands it's not easy. She understands it's going to take time. But both ways, what she does is she sets herself a time limit, let's say of 1 year, regardless, and she continues to attend her nutritionist follow-ups because she realized that it's also important to be consistent, as you guys said, right? So it's a process that could take time, maybe 1 year, maybe two. She gave herself enough time, let's say, for 1 year. So in this way, let's say Sarah took her uh, goal and applied the SMART process on it. I'm going to move the mic back over to Gilsa to continue through for more tips that you can guys follow.
Thank you, Sabina. I hope all of you understood how to set smart goals with the help of, the two examples we provided. So next, moving on to a few useful tips which might help you again in order to, set your goals. So, like we were saying, it's not necessary that we always take the giant steps or we need not do everything at a time because doing all of it at a time could overwhelm you and it can actually result in you not being able to achieve those targets. So rather start with small and baby steps rather than giant leaps. So we can also start with self control exercises rather than actual steps leading to the goal. So most of the time we are too overly critical of ourselves. We might sometimes ignore our strength or we might set unrealistically high expectations from ourselves. So it is important that we approve or we acknowledge the progress we are making rather than having a perfection or a perfectionistic oriented goal in your mind. So if you have made some progress towards your goal but you're still not all the way there, it is okay. Start with some self control strategies like maintaining a healthy lifestyle, regulating your sleep, improving stress coping mechanism, practicing mindful, reducing your gadget use, all of which in turn would ultimately lead you to help reach your goal. Secondly, the 6 to 8 weeks or 21 days principle of habit formation. So at the end of the day, how long this particular habit is going to take in order to be set will definitely matter too much on how much effort we are going to take. So whether it takes 21 days or 50 days, we have to put in all the work. So basically we have to be consistent on our efforts, whether it is 21 days or 50 days. I think Sabina also would agree if we say that it's better not to take too many cheat days when we are actually on a diet or something. So habit formation require consistent and persistent effort from your side. How much long depends or varies with individuals. Next, monitor yourself. Even your self-talk, self-monitoring and tracking is critical for behavior change. So, this involves being aware of your behavior and the impact your behavior has on your environment, self monitoring. So, it refers to your ability to modify your behaviors, how you respond to this environmental or situational conditions you're in. You can also, I think most of us at certain point would be involving in some self talk. But what you have to be mindful is whether your self talk is actually helping you or not, whether it is negative kind of self talk that you're having or positive kind of self talk. For instance, if you're having a negative self talk, when you're faced with a failure, what you would be saying yourself is like, I failed and I embarrassed myself. I'm not supposed to attempt any of such. such endeavors again. Rather, if you're having a positive self-talk, you would be saying yourself, I'm proud of myself for even trying to do that. It really took a lot of courage from me to actually try that. So that is how we do self-talk. So we have to be mindful whether the self-talk we are involving in is positive or negative. Next, always try to savor your progress or tiny accomplishments that you're having. So savoring individual or collective success will require, a lot of effort from your side. Because as soon as we set a goal, we are always looking forward to the end result. So we have to always make effort to, savor and acknowledge our tiny accomplishments. This will amplify your positive feelings also. Next, have a reward system in place. That is, you know, forming good habits can be very draining for us. So, if you have a habit of treating yourself occasionally in a healthy manner, that can play a very important role in maintaining our efforts. So, when we give ourselves treat, we feel energized, cared for, and contented, and this will also boost our self command, and our self command will help us maintain our healthy habits. So find healthy ways to treat yourself periodically whenever you're making enough progress. Next, don't beat yourself up for defeats or lapses in your plan, and choose to be kind and compassionate yourself. So we need to ultimately accept that we are not perfect, and we need to be gentle to ourselves even when you're confronted with our shortcomings. So basically, having to be, compassionate and kind towards ourselves means that rather than beating yourself up for not living up to the standards we kept for ourselves, we get some perspective on the work we did so far, and sometimes we might even be surprised to find how much progress we made if we look at it from that perspective. So I'm handing it over to Sabina again to give you certain examples.
Okay, thank you, Gilsa. So we're displaying here now for you again the PDB process. So let's say we want to apply an example to the personal development plan while keeping, the SMART process in mind. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example now. Then I would want you to, let's say, think of your own. So let's say we want to set goals for 2023. I want to set like 3 goals. It could be that I want to eat healthy, meditate, and exercise. Okay, very good. Now I need to prioritize those goals, right? So as a priority, I would have number 1 is exercising, number 2, eating healthy, number 3, meditating. Okay. Now need to set deadlines for when are we going to achieve this. So for example, by the end of Q1 of 2023, so by March, let's say, I want to be able to walk for 30 minutes, 5 times a week. So this makes it like measurable. And then 4, we move to recognizing threats and opportunities. So let's say getting sick, demotivated, or bored, those could be like threats that could be imposed on me. That if I get sick, maybe I wouldn't be able to exercise much. Maybe I would fall through some demotivation phases or get bored of this. 5 is to develop the skills or like increase our knowledge. So let's say we can try different exercises, you can research workouts, we can read more about nutrition, understand more about our, let's say, gut health, about the vitamins, the macros in food. This would all help us a lot. And 6 is to use our support network. So, for example, call a friend or listen to some motivational podcast, some coaching podcast, lifestyle podcast. Such stuff could help as well. Sharing experiences with our friends as well, or even having encouraging our friends to join us on a journey to a healthier lifestyle. For example, 7 is to measure the progress. So let's say using health apps or writing a log. Uh, you could use like the TrueDog app, or let's say my Samsung app or your iPhone Health, Apple Health, let's say, or you have a log where you can list down things that you've done and see, okay, have I done enough this week? Have I done enough this month? What did I do right? What do I congratulate myself for? What can I do better the next month? So in this way, you also keep improving and keep moving towards your goal. So as a final step, let's try this with like one of you, let's say. I would like a volunteer that would want to, let's say, take those steps together, me and you. Like, let's try to work out a PDP and SMART plan. So I put these steps for you again, 1 to 7. So what goals would you set for your 2023? Can we have a volunteer, or maybe all of you can share on the box? Let's start by number 1. What could be goals for your 2023? Like mention 2 or 3 goals as a start. Whoever doesn't want to write in the chat box, maybe you can write down on a paper, do this exercise with us. But it would be great if one of you at least can share on the chat box like examples of what could be the goals for 2023. Anyone? Doesn't have to be your personal goals, just give me an example. Create a healthy work-life balance, reduce weight, eat healthy, exercise daily. Okay, lovely. Better work-life balance. Okay, great. Going out more. Okay, lovely. So if you want to take the example of, let's say, someone who has more than one goal. So you mentioned maybe one goal. Let's say you have 2 goals. Reduce weight, eat healthy, like exercise. Okay, how would you prioritize them? Like, what would be number 1 for you? What would be number 2? What's number 3? So can you tell me, like, 1 is this, 2 is that, 3 is Y, X? So let's say, Jyoti, you mentioned reduce weight, eat healthy, exercise daily. Which would be number 1 for you? Nice. 1, exercise, 2, eat healthy, 3, reduce weight. Lovely. Okay, so number 3, let's say we want to set deadlines for when you want to achieve them. So what deadline would you give yourself? How long? 2 months. Okay, very nice. Very nice. And number 4, to recognize threats and opportunities. So what threats there might be? What threats there might be, or what opportunities? Junk food, laziness. Okay, very nice, lovely. And 5, to develop your skills or increase your knowledge. What would you do like for that, or how would you do it? Consult dietitian. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, you can increase your knowledge in this way. Okay. Take advice from experts. Okay. Great. Great. Lovely. And to use your support network. Number 6, Google, YouTube. Yes. Okay. Very nice. All of you. Heart attack is also, yeah, a threat, like let's say on the long term, if someone had like some health issues or increased like let's say overweight or obese and did not do, let's say, anything about it, yeah, like heart attack could be like a risk factor, let's say. So all of you said correct things. Also number 5, consulting dietitian, taking advice, Google, YouTube is all correct. And number 6, to use your support network. So I believe this is also like obvious, to like use help from your friends, right? Family. And how would you measure your progress? Tell me. So tell me, how would you measure your progress? Thank you, Zishan. Yeah, discuss with colleagues, friends, and family. Yes, that's definitely step number 6. And what about number 7, Jyoti? How would you measure your progress? Weighing scale. Okay. Regular checkups. Okay, very nice. Lovely. Okay, all of you answered very nicely, correctly. So you can see that those 7 steps actually help us in, organizing our goals, our thoughts more, helps us like follow a process that will lead us to our targets or where we want to reach. If you like, I'm just gonna leave it here for 2 seconds. If you like to take a, like say, picture of it, so you can then do it on your own after our webinar, or whenever you are free, you can follow those 7 steps and apply them to yourself. All right. And those are the examples. If you wanted to take a screenshot of that. Okay. So the last thing we'd want to share with you is this quote by Martha Beck. Said, if you find yourself getting nervous, stop and relax for 3 full breaths. Then take one small step, then another. That is how people get to the top of Everest. So, as we said before, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with a lot of things to work on or too many non-specific goals. So let's take it step by step, specify our goals, work on them slowly. Each small step is actually a big step in terms of progress, and that's going to help you get closer and closer to your goal. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we'd like to see if anyone has any question. We're here to answer you, me, anything on a wellness perspective or nutrition perspective, and Gilsa on mental, like psychology perspective. We're happy to take any questions you might have now. Thank you all. I'd also encourage you to scan our QR code, download our app. We have a very nice interactive app where you could also track your health. As you said, you can see your weight, your steps, etc. You can connect it with your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, and you can use it to get in touch with us anytime you need. To remind you, we're here for you like 24/7. Our doctors are available 24/7. Me and Gilsa are available Monday to Friday. You can call in and book a consultation, whether with Gilsa, which would be a totally private, confidential consultation, or with me as well. Anytime Monday to Friday, we're happy to accommodate you. Just get in touch with us and we'll be there for you. If there are no questions, I believe we can wrap it up. And we wish you happy holidays, a very Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year 2023.
Thank you all for the patient listening and for such interactions between our presentation. We wish you all a very happy New Year and a very Merry Christmas.